Hi, my name is Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood. My company is Deck Restoration Plus. I'm here today to talk about the proper steps in wood restoration and to talk about the soft washing scam that is out there today as it regards to wood restoration. First, in regards to exterior wood restoration, there is a right way and a wrong way. The right way consists of four main steps. The four main steps, the first is to pre-wet your wood surfaces. In that way, you are soaking the wood, filling the cells of the wood full of water, so that when you apply your cleaners, your restores, and your strippers to the wood, that they're working on the surface of the wood, and the water works as a barrier to keep those products up on the surface to do the work where it's needed. In regards to the wood, we'll either have gray wood or old wood with mold, mildew, and so forth in regards to cleaning. It's not in the wood, it's on the surface of the wood. So we only want to work on the surfaces of the wood. In step two, we will apply the cleaners, the restorers, the strippers, and have them do their work. After that is done, and usually that takes a dwell time, and for as long as it takes to restore the wood, that's how long we keep those products on the wood. When that job is done, we rinse. When we rinse, we want to completely get rid of all the product that we put on the wood and have a clear, clean piece of wood. When we're done rinsing, we rinse again, and then we're done there, we rinse again. Okay, in the fourth step, what we'll do is we coat the wood with either a sealer or a stain to protect the wood and then extend the life of the wood. So there you have four steps. We're going to pre-wet, we're going to apply the cleaners, the strippers or the restorers. We're going to rinse. When we're done rinsing, we're going to rinse again. And then fourth, we're going to coat the wood. Today we're going to go over those steps. And we're going to talk about how the soft washers are doing it and how they've come into the wood restoration part of the business. First of all, soft washing has gained a lot of momentum in regards to a term in exterior cleaning and restoration. And how it came about mostly was in roof cleaning. And in roof cleaning, as in wood, we're working on the surfaces. We're allowing the cleaners to do the work, and we're not hurting the substrate below. So in that way, we're kind of the same. So what happened was the roof cleaners started applying chemicals to the roof. They lightly rinse, and it's a light application, and they're done. In most cases, they leave the product up there, and they leave, and then 2 weeks later, the roof looks wonderful. In regards to wood, though, what happens is, if we do the same thing with wood, it's much different. It's a softer substrate, and what happens is, with dry wood, it acts like a sponge. So when you apply the chemical, it pulls it in. Chemicals left in the wood or pulled into the wood will damage the wood and cause premature decomposition of the wood and shorten the life expectancy of the wood. It will dry it out. Whereas if we fill the wood full of water and pre-wet it first and apply any cleaners or restores, it's working off the surface. Okay, so in that case, the cleaners are doing the work in both cases. However, in the soft washing, all they're doing is applying the cleaners and they're soaking into the wood. They're giving a false impression that the wood is restored, and it really hasn't done anything. It's almost like what we've been fighting in wood restoration for years in regards to talking about cleaners, restorers, brighteners, strippers. They actually do the work on the wood surfaces. It's not a pressure washer. As a matter of fact, not always do we use a pressure washer. Sometimes a garden hose is used, and there's hand scrubbing. There's also media blasting. There's many ways to restore wood. One way not to restore wood, though, is to just put bleach or a bleach type material with a heavy dilution, throw it on the wood, and just brighten it up. Bleach does not clean. Bleach won't clean your clothes. You put soap in your washing machine to clean your clothes, you add bleach to whiten it. That's all bleach is really doing. It's killing the mold and mildew, and it's whitening the wood, and unnaturally. In the case of cedar, which is what I'm using today in the sample, Western red cedar will have an unnatural white look to it, and it won't be the same. If you're a customer and someone sells you that they're going to soft wash your wood, you think, hey, wow, this is great, it's going to come out clean, it looks good, so forth. However, the end result will be when you go to stain or seal it, whether you do it yourself or someone who's soft washing it does, the result will be different, and we'll show you that at the end of the demonstration. I just want to say right now, not all roof washers, not all soft washers are doing this incorrectly. Some are responsible. Some have put education and time in to learning how to restore wood and do an excellent job at it. However, in most cases, that is not happening. There are a lot of people out there that are making claims that because they do more roofs or more soft washing than anyone else, that they're in fact experts in wood restoration. The truth is, they couldn't be further from the truth. What they're really doing is, they're actually, by their own admission and making that claim, saying that they are destroying more wood than anyone else. Not restoring it, destroying it. And that's what we're going to show today. So first, on the left side here, my left side, we have our roof washing pump. What we're going to do is we're going to soft wash, but using a pump sprayer. Now, a soft washer is going to have a machine with a low pressure, low volume, or high volume, low pressure setup, and they're going to apply their solution on the wood and leave it. They may say they don't use bleach, and maybe they don't, maybe they do. Depending on the solution, that's what it is, though. They're basically bleaching the wood out. What they do is they'll mask the scent. They'll put a lemon scent or a cherry scent in there so that you won't smell the bleach, when in fact, in most cases, they are using very high concentrations of bleach. What this does to a deck, if it's stained and they wash a roof, that bleach content getting on the stain may eat a ring around the roof edge. We've seen that damage many times. So we're going to set that up with our roof washing setup. Over here on my right, we're going to do the 4 proper stages of wood restoration. And we'll see that in action right here. Then I will show you some boards that I've previously done and what the difference is. And then boards that have been stained, that have been soft washed, and some that have been washed properly using the 4 steps to proper wood restoration. So, to get started, on the first, we have 2 pieces of wood. One is gray, very similar to a deck that we would go out to. Okay? And we have another one that is very old. It's got mold and mildew. Now this could be a deck, it could be a fence. Soft washer might come out and say, hey, I will restore your wood for you, I'll make it look like new, and you'll think, hey, this is great, it looks awesome. And basically what they do a very light light application of whatever their cleaning solution is. And you can see already, instantly, it's turning the wood nice color, and the first impression is, wow, that looks great. Okay? They may even agitate it. One of the other things, by using harsh chemicals, especially on soft woods like cedar, it'll fur them up and cause a lot of fuzzies on the wood that are usually left and not addressed by the soft washer. So we've applied that, and then we'll leave that. And in some cases even if they were to put some kind of rinse or a pressure washer on it, they would put some pressure and agitate the surfaces. But in most cases they're not, and they're just applying and leaving. Then when that dries, you think that it's very nice and clean, and when in fact all it has is lightened or whitened the wood. Now when we go over to these 2 pieces of wood, we would take our pressure washer or our garden hose, whatever we're restoring the wood. We want to soak the wood. We absolutely want to fill the cells of the wood full of water. That would be the first step. Now, to take it a step further, most of the time when we're cleaning wood, we use 2 types of cleaners. We use sodium percarbonate or oxygenated bleach, or we use sodium hypochlorite, which is chlorine bleach. Without getting into the debate over which is the best, as wood restorers, we have many tools in our arsenal. Oxygenated bleach is great around waterways, it's very safe for the environment, and in most cases, oxygenated bleach is all you would need to clean the wood. However, in some cases, after very old wood that has a lot of mold and mildew, very porous wood like cedar, especially cedar shakes, where the mold and mildew is heavy, sometimes chlorine bleach is also good. It's a matter of how we use it. The proper way to use it is using water as a barrier. If we soak the wood, as we do in any type of wood restoration, we're keeping that bleach to the surface of the wood. Now, the Forest Products Laboratory, the Joint Coatings Committee, have put together a solution that has been around for years that they still publish in regards to wood restoration. It includes chlorine bleach, it includes a detergent, and water. Now the detergent, which I put in the cleaner, is basically soap, dish soap, or any kind of soap, and what that does is the soap will give the bleach the cling, and now you will clean the wood. We have a cleaner, we have something that will kill mold and mildew, and then we will brighten. Most people want to know, why do you have to brighten if you bleach? If you bleach and you clean, you don't need to brighten. The brightener does three things, not one thing for wood. Not only will it brighten the wood to its optimal point, which in wood restoration, everything's in the preparation. We want it to be as bright and clean looking as possible. That way our end result is better. That's one thing a brightener does, a wood brightener. The second thing it does is it will neutralize iron and metal stains. So if you have nail bleeds, you have a fence, you have a deck that has nail bleeds in it, it will neutralize those black stains and get rid of them. So when you go to stain, instead of accentuating those black stains and making them stand out, you won't have those. So you have a more professional result. The third thing that a brightener does is it will open up the pores of the wood. Not much different than concrete restoration. So when we open up the pores of the wood, the stain will get in better. So there's three reasons for using a brightener, not just one, and not just don't use it. So again, we pre-wet the wood. We want to apply our cleaner, which, if we're using a pressure washer, we may put it on with a pump sprayer. We may pressure wash it, agitate it. We may put it on and brush it. Many people deck scrub their deck surfaces and wood surfaces. And many people just put it on, let it work for 10 minutes, and then apply a brightener, allow it to dry, and then restore it. So we've applied the cleaner. We let it sit for a certain amount of time. Now, coming and get back over here, we can see that our wood is very light. It's not dark, it's not gray anymore like it was. And over here, the wood is actually darkened up a little bit. And what happens when we use cleaners properly, and then we put on strippers and so forth, what will happen is it'll darken the wood up a little bit. It's okay to darken the wood a little bit, because when we apply the brightener, it will bring it back to the natural color of the wood. Okay, so now this hasn't sat for 10 minutes, but normally we would let it sit for 10 minutes, at least, our cleaner, before we go and apply the brightener. Okay, so give it a quick rinse. Brightener, and the wood brightener will act almost instantly. So this is step 2 in wood restoration. We first apply our pre-wet the wood, let all the water fill the cells, get it nice and wet. This will keep the bleach up to the surface of the wood and the cleaner. And that, doing so, will get rid of all the gray, mold, mildew, and so forth that's on the surface. We apply a brightener, bring back the natural color of the wood, and then at this point we would rinse. Now the difference between these two, and even if we rinse this, the difference between the two is that in this case, we kept the cleaner to the surface, and it worked on the surface, and it was rinsed off, and it was not pulled into the wood. In this case, the wood was dry. It now acts like a sponge. It pulls the cleaner into the wood. there's either no or little rinsing in there, and the chances that we left any chemical or bleach in the wood is very good. Now people say, well, in regards to bleach is bad for the wood. Well, bleach is bad for the wood if it's abused and if it's used incorrectly, especially at high concentrations. Bleach, if it's used correctly, can work and be effective, and when it's not, it causes an unnatural look. The controversy over bleach is bleach damages the wood. Bleach damages the wood because when we make paper, chlorine is used to separate the lignin from the pulp. When it separates the lignin is the glue-like substance that holds the wood together. What it does, it breaks that down and leaves the pulp for making paper. So chlorine will damage wood. However, used correctly, it doesn't damage it. Now, where would we liken that into this business in regards to our everyday life? We talk about strippers. Strippers are mostly sodium hydroxide and have been in the industry for a long time. And people don't say, oh, don't use sodium hydroxide, it's terrible. But however, if you look on the back of your toothpaste, you'll see one of the ingredients is often sodium hydroxide. If used correctly, these are tools in our arsenal. They're not harmful to the end result. It's a matter of knowing how to use them. That's proper wood restoration. So what we have now is we have our Softwash, which lighten the wood. We have our proper wood restoration, where you can see the nice honey color of the wood, and this hasn't even dried. When it dries, it looks a little closer to the same, but this will be unnaturally light. Okay, step forward to what we previously did with the same wood, and you can see that this wood has dried, and it has more of a natural honey color to the wood, whereas this wood is definitely lighter. It's bleached out, it has wood fibers, it's not smooth and soft to the touch. This is what chemicals do to the wood. This is what is unnatural in the look of the wood. Everything in wood restoration, as far as the end result, is in the preparation. You may look at this and say, wow, they did a good job and want to pay somebody, but this is what it should look like. And if it's stained or sealed, you want this to be what you start with. Now, moving ahead further, you might say, well, we're going to put a stain or a sealer on this anyway. What's the difference as long as the surface is clean? The difference is this. I took some of Deck Restoration Plus's Chemung Red. We have 4 types of stains and 4 different colors of stain. They're Burlington Gold, Seneca Brown, Medford Cedar, and Chemung Red. I used the Chemung Red to accentuate the difference in this wood. What I did was I took a couple pieces of cedar. This I restored with the 4 steps of proper wood restoration, and this through the soft washing technique, which is basically just put on the chemical and splash and dash kind of thing and get your money. Now what happens, if you can see this, is a nice red tone in the Chemung Red. And here, it almost looks orange, where the wood was bleached out. We lost the good color of the wood. It was never brightened, it wasn't done correctly. So the end result is much different. So this looks more orange, and this looks more red, like it should look. We wanted this to, Chemung Red should be more like a redwood type color, when actually it looks like cedar now. Here's the difference between proper wood restoration and the soft washing scam that is out there today. Please don't make the mistake of hiring someone that does not know how to do proper wood restoration. Proper wood restoration really takes the 4 steps to do it correctly. And why, like I said earlier, there are many roof washers and soft washers that do the correct thing. However, they've invaded the wood restoration industry, and the reason being is many years ago they were getting, when the soft washing started, they were getting, say, $1,000 for a roof. And now they've cannibalized the industry, so many people are in it, that they're fighting over these roofs at $300 and $400 that they used to get $1,000 for. So what they're doing is they're looking for other avenues to make income and make up that money. So they look at other ways where they can use their soft washing technique. They've invaded the wood restoration industry, basically saying they restore wood. No, they don't. They damage the wood in many cases. They're not restoring the wood, and they're trying to make up that income. They're not actually giving you a good result. If you want a good result, one proper wood restoration, find someone who actually does excellent wood restoration in your area and follows the 4 main steps. And I'll review them one more time. Number 1, pre-wet the wood. Fill the wood full of water. Apply your cleaners, your restorers, your brighteners. Let them work on the surface of the wood. Rinse them thoroughly. Make sure that you're leaving nothing on the wood. Allow it to dry. Step 4, apply your stain or your sealer, and you'll extend the life of your wood. I'm the Wizard of Wood, Deck Restoration Plus, Everett Abrams, and this is the way we restore wood as well. If you would like any more information or questions answered, please feel free to call our office toll free at 866-440-3325 or visit our website at www.deckrestorationplus.com. Have a great day.